Hey guys, Scott Gordon here, coming to you from the home office on a happy Father's Day. I was thinking about the company this afternoon and I'm pretty excited about how things are going, so I thought I should send you a message and tell you things I'm excited about. You know, May's numbers were not so exciting, but when May was over and we looked back, it turned out that we had closed a few more loans than I thought. And now that accounting's gone through the numbers, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. And June numbers are better. We've kind of gone through that Reg Z pain, and things look a lot better. So I wanted you to know that. I'm pretty excited about where we are, our accomplishments, and where we're going. But to keep making those accomplishments, we have to talk about how we interface with people. You know, I want us to get referred. I want the branches with us to stay, and I want them to refer us to other branches so we can increase our volume. And you know, I like using Cabo as a tool, and that's great, but I don't think people are going to tell their friends, hey, they've got Cabo, you have to work there. But I do think they tell their friends, hey, when I call in, I get help. They actually return my call, and they're polite. I like those guys. They help me. Those are the things that get us referred. So I want to talk about that. Of course, there's the business about returning calls. When you get a call, please try to return it quickly. Or if you get a voicemail message or an email, and if you can't get back to it quickly, maybe you can shoot off an email to say, I got your message, Kathy, but it's going to be a couple hours before I get back to you because I've got to get XYZ done. Any of that acknowledges them, even if you have to tell them the truth of the time frame of when you can get back to them, that's okay. At least you've communicated. If you're not the right person, help them find the right person. You know, we have 30-some corporate employees and people specialize in different things. But loan officers tend to call the people they know or the people who help them. If you're not the right person, you don't have to try to do somebody else's job. Just steer the loan officer to the right person, but that's still helping them. I want to mention this thing about communication because I've got kids and I've learned this with kids. There are things we need to communicate to the loan officers, and when we communicate to them, don't think of, how do I want to say this? Talking to a loan officer is not communicating with them. Communicating is when you had a message and they heard your message. So think about that when you're communicating with loan officers. The next time a loan officer calls you and says, oh, I got this problem, maybe you're an underwriter, and they call and say, you put 3 conditions on and blah, blah, blah. They just want to know, can we remove one of those conditions because it's a problem. But the first thing you might do is say, hold on a second, I'm hearing you say this file is really important to you, and maybe you've got a realtor, whatever, and there are conditions here that are going to be hard to meet, and you don't think they need to be there. So if you repeat back to them what they said, again, it's the trick we have to do with our kids, you might discover that, wait, that wasn't my point I was trying to say. You might discover you heard wrong or they misspoke. But at least if you repeat back what they say, you'll know that you got their point. And sometimes you can use that to clarify when they come storming in saying, I got to remove this condition. You can kind of back up a little and say, is this an important file? That's what you're telling me, and this, and that lets them know you understand where they're coming from. Now then, once you're on the same page about what they want, and you have to tell them, well, we can't remove that condition because the lender will require us to have X, Y, Z. At least they know you heard what they were looking for, and when you say that to them, you can make sure they heard you. So do you understand what I'm saying? That I can't remove the condition, and I would like to be able to close this file because we don't make any money when we don't close a file, and I don't get any gold stars by my name when I'm underwriting a file and we don't close it, but I can't because the lender wouldn't buy it, or whatever the situation is. So it's, don't just talk at them or talk to them, but make sure they heard what you said. And that can go a long way into easing some of their anxiety when things don't go their way. At least if I think there's something about it. When they know that they've communicated, then they're more clear that the answer is really no. If they're not sure they communicated, then they can keep a hope alive in their little head, that they can still turn the answer into yes, or the answer that they wanted to hear. Be honest about challenges. Like I said a minute ago, if somebody calls, and don't tell them you'll call back in 2 hours if you know you're not going to be able to call back for the rest of the day or for 4 hours, because you're setting them up to be unhappy. And we don't want to try to say, okay, we'll try to fix this loan. If you know in your heart this loan ain't going, Bubba, then just tell them the loan can't happen. My last note, okay, second to last, is be of service. It's kind of what I originally sat down to make this video about. But it does get back to the communication. I'd really like to know, I'd like them to really feel like Open Mortgage is the best place for them to work. But to do that, we have to do the right things. We have to do the things they need. Well, it's like the communication. You don't know what somebody wants unless you really heard them and you make sure that you heard them. Same thing. We don't really know what they consider important unless we ask them. It's not just me asking, or Greg or Linda. It's every one of you, because you all catch them at a different time and they all think of us differently. They'll complain to you or about things they won't complain to me because they don't want to, I don't know, look bad complaining to me or whatever it is. So when you get the opportunity in your conversations that you have with our customers, our branches, loan officers, branch managers, be sure you ask if we can be of service. Ask, how is it going? What can we do for you? What would help? Anyway, please check and see if we can be of service, because then we'll know what it is we need to do to help them. Now, getting back to where we are, our production's up, our mortgage banking is way up. We're like 80% correspondent. We are making a little more money on each loan. Our future does look very bright. And all of this grief that we've gotten through has been because of your hard work and all of the appreciation we get from branches, which isn't always as much maybe as you deserve, but all the appreciation we get is because of your work and your attitude and your communication. So I want to say I appreciate that. You are Open Mortgage. You are the experience they have, and that's why we're still in business. And I want to be in the last man standing club, and I think we will, thanks to you and your hard work. So thank you. Hope you had a great weekend, and I will talk to you later.